About 100 emails have come in from listeners regarding Mark Driscoll and your relationship with him. Mostly the questions are centered on whether you now regret partnering with Mark Driscoll in the past.
First, no regret. John Piper has no regret for befriending Mark Driscoll, going to Mark Driscoll's church and speaking at his events, or having him come to the Jedi and God Conference. I do not regret that. My regret is that I was not a more effective friend. Mark knew he had flaws. He knows he has flaws. And I knew he had flaws. He knew that I knew he had flaws. There were flaws of leadership attitude, flaws of unsavory language that I think it's just wrong for Christians to use, flaws of exegetical errors, say in regard to the Song of Solomon. I wrote him a long critique of his use of the Song of Solomon. I wrote him personally about these. Long critique of his use of the Song of Solomon. So there was a mutuality about this, and I felt loved by Mark, and I wanted to love him in return. I still do hope for the best in Mark's life and ministry. So no, I don't regret it, because the things he said when he spoke were true and helpful, and I tried to do the same at his church.
Well, when I was here, we went out to some saloon or something. Where did we go?
A saloon? We rode there on a horse.
It was a brewery. It was a brewery, and the guy who owns it runs the church or something like that.
Runs the church? That's Jesus. You know that. I got a freebie. I brought you one from Mars Hill.
Oh, cool. Desiring God.
Here it is. It's tweed. I knew you'd like that. We got it at a skateboarding shop. It's very cool. There you go. And we put the Desiring God logo on it. You got to show them the logo. The logo looks the best. That's good.
With regard to his books, whether they should sit on shelves in bookstores or churches or homes, that's a tough call. By bookstores or churches where they pull those back so as not to give any kind of public affirmation of mistakes that Mark may have made. But then maybe in years to come, the books reemerge as helpful, since I think most of what he has written has been true and helpful. Mark Driscoll has done much good in speaking and writing much truth.
How dare you! Who in the hell do you think you are? And it also says Jesus watches you download porn, which is theologically correct and actually true.
There is a pile of dead bodies behind the Mars Hill bus. And by God's grace, it'll be a mountain by the time we're done. You either get on the bus or you get run over by the bus. Those are the options.
Some people actually see things. This may be gift of discernment. On occasion, I see things. Jesus was fun. This is why Jesus keeps getting invited to parties.
And I think the Jesus t-shirts are funny. And this one is from Urban Outfitters. It's DJ Jazzy Jesus. And
I think it would be sinful and unbiblical for any of Mark's detractors to simply feel good riddance. That's a sin to feel that. No, we pray for truth to hold sway and for grace to transform and renew and restore all of us, including Mark.
All we need do is look at the recent news. And we've seen yet another evangelical megastar, Mark Driscoll, and the total collapse of his church brand, Mars Hill. Just another in the long, sad case where the name of Christ is besmirched by Christians claiming to love Jesus, all the while inventing a church structure that centers around a charismatic leader and that exists primarily to promote the leader's personal vision to those who share it with him. And this with little, if any, consideration of what the New Testament actually teaches about how a church is to organize itself and conduct its ministry. And of course, it doesn't take long for people reading their Bibles to figure out how the church envisioned by its celebrity leader differs from the nature of the church in the New Testament, which doesn't allow for celebrity leaders to promote their own personal interests and gain fame and fortune for themselves. Now, as many of you know, Mars Hill and Mark Driscoll were very frequently identified with the movement called the Young, the Restless, and the Reformed, those millennials who had recently discovered the glories of Reformed theology. And yet in Driscoll's case, Mars Hill managed to ignore the fact that any movement that is Reformed will also strive for a church governed by elders, not a church which is ruled by a celebrity tyrant who fires anybody who dares stand up to him or who dares disagree with his personal agenda.
No regret. John Piper has no regret for befriending Mark Driscoll. Mark Driscoll has done much good in speaking and writing much truth